Peace, peace, peace. Shalom, shalom. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. And welcome to another day to labor in the vineyard of the Most High with your brother. Another day to get in the Word to see what the Most High got to serve. Another day to grow in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which fills us up with more light. To be iron like lion in Zion. All right. And what we gonna eat on today? We gonna see a little bit about what the celebration really all about, and how we had celebrations that had to do with the things in the celestial realm. All our celebrations had to do with the light. That's what this holiday, which stems from our holy days, is really about. All the Gentiles do is take our things and put their own twist on them. That's why the Most High say it's the glory of kings to search out a matter. Search out and see what the Most High done hid through the lives of the Gentiles. Anytime the Gentiles point us somewhere, we need to find the true meaning behind it. The Gentiles tell us we from Africa, it's a red flag. If the Gentiles tell you that civilization started with Egypt, it's a red flag. That's part of the learning about the Gentiles. And that's one thing that Islam is good at installing on us. Well, the Nation of Islam. You gotta, the same way they studied us, you gotta study them. The Gentiles put plenty of time into studying us. And that's just the art of warfare. Boxing, football, basketball. You always gotta study your opponent. The Gentiles put plenty of time into studying us, but we don't study them. We just listen to what they tell us and take it as word. They tell us that Jesus was born on December 25th, and we just roll with it. We don't question it, we just celebrate it because that's what they told us. That don't make it true. There's others that they say was born. They say Buddha was born on December 25th, some of them. They say Haru was born on December 25th, who is Horus, which that's in the Egyptian story. Some of them say Krishna was born on December 25th. But we'll get into that another day. Alright, it's the reason that they always Buddha, Krishna, Haru, and Jesus. They all represent the Savior. Alright? But the Gentiles only want us focus on Jesus. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Any one of them you focus on, they all get you into the same point. But we're going to see the another side of it here. We're going to start in the return of the children of light. Because we got to go back to the light. We come from the light, we gotta go back to the light. All our holy days had to do with the light. I'm gonna start on page 28. Page 28. The equinoxes, solstices, and the return of the Pleiades were observed and celebrated with absolute precision by the Inca and other indigenous peoples around the world. All of us, all the indigenous tribes, celebrated the equinoxes, the solstices, the winter and the summer solstice. And as we know, December 21st was the winter solstice. All right. So right now, that's what this celebration still technically that stems from us got to do about. It's the celebration of the winter solstice. All right. The equinoxes, solstices, and the return of the Pleiades were observed and celebrated with absolute precision by the Inca and other indigenous peoples around the world. They built massive and complex calendars which recorded the exact progression of the sun and accurately marked the precise moment of the spring and winter solstices. The date of the return of the Pleiades, the solstices, the equinoxes, as well as other holy days were critically important and spiritually significant to indigenous peoples who believed that at or before dawn on these holy days, a special blessing was available. Although many contemporary researchers of Andean culture believe these dates were important because they indicated when the people should plant their crops, it is also known that these dates had a greater spiritual significance. All right? So what we're going to see right now, it's a spiritual significance behind it. And the Gentiles, they take it and they harness it for their own spiritual purposes. They use all of the spiritual energy that's being brung at this time for them to make money off you by the lies that they tell you. All right? That's why the Christmas spirit. Oh, you a Grinch if you ain't got the Christmas spirit. That's spiritual right there. That's spiritual. All right? So they make you feel bad if you don't want to participate in their Christmas shopping. All the holy days to them are days to make money. All right? The Gentiles want to make money. And if you don't want to participate spiritually, they're going to make you feel bad. Oh, you a Grinch. You a Grinch because you don't want to buy. Hold on. They try to make you feel bad when you don't participate in their holy days by saying that you against it as a means of reverse psychology. They try to get you to feel bad so that you will participate and spend your money to make their numbers look good and to increase their wealth. Now you think about it. If all of us acted like the Grinch and didn't spend our money during this holiday season, it will hurt them a lot more than it's gonna hurt these children by them not getting no toys and gifts and all of that. So they harness the energy because they studied us. Like we went about in the last lesson. The Gentiles have spent plenty of time studying us. They know it's innately in us to celebrate at this time of year. So what they do, they gonna harness that energy and they gonna give us something to celebrate because they didn't wipe our memories clean from our history because they didn't gave us a fake history. All right? But they know spiritually it's in us to want to celebrate this time. So they harness that energy for them to make money. All right? They studied us. We got to study them. And that's why I don't think it's bad. With Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, the teachers that teach to focus on the white man and what they did to us, because they spend so much time studying us, and through Christianity, all they teach is love and forget about all they did to you. Nah. You use that to study them, to understand them. This spiritual warfare. Christianity then took us out of the fight, and it made us docile. That's why I don't have it's part of getting built up spiritually. So when you go through listening to Dr. York, Farrakhan, even my teacher that I had, Dr. Jackson, With them teaching the white man is the devil and the focus on the white man, that's a form of spiritual training right there. So where now your eye can see something that the Christian eye is not gonna see. Cause the Christian eye don't have no spiritual discernment. And they can't understand the things that the Gentiles did to us to place us in this mental and spiritual bondage that we in. Now, as you grow, you gonna outgrow some aspects of the teachings, but it's good to help you get built up. And it's a lot of Gentiles. If you look at Farrakhan followers, he got a whole lot of white folks that follow him. Cause they understand what he teaching ain't necessarily false. It's just a point to where you start to outgrow it as you spiritually grow. Dr. York, Malachi Z. York. I used to study his lessons for the longest. I watched a whole lot of his videos. He was raised in Islam, so he teach the same thing about the white man being the devil. But he got a huge following of Gentiles. They'll sit and listen to these people because it helped them study and understand. But the Christian mindset will run from it and think that they teaching hate. It's not hate, it's spiritual discernment and understanding. Just because they teach the white man is the devil don't mean that they hate white folks. Nah, it's teaching you to focus on the actions that they did to us. If you read the book of Jubilees, in chapter 1, Moses begged the Most High, don't give us over to our enemies. So what they teaching is the same thing that Moses understood. Moses begged the Most High in Jubilees, chapter 1. Please don't give your people over into the hands of their enemies for them to be destroyed. But the Most High is just and fair, and his word is going to stand. He said it was going to happen, it's going to happen. It don't matter who begged to stop it. Oh, let's get back to the word here. The importance of light as a spiritual force is emphasized in the Inca creation story, wherein Viracocha gives his second creation that added advantage of light. He directed the sun, stars, and moon to come forth from Lake Titicaca and placed them in the sky so they might give light to his children. This light was not ordinary light, but the light of divine consciousness that manifested in form. For the Inca, physical light had engendering qualities, awakening the light codes buried in the human form. The Incan creation story underscores the notion of divine engendering by light. The Incan creation story underscores the notion of divine engendering by light, by relating that when the children of the sun, that's another title for us, the children of the sun, the children of light, the children of the sun emerged from the sacred doorways between the worlds and stepped into dawn on the solstice morning, they were showered with fertile golden light. Only then did they become the Inca, which means illuminated ones. And as you grow in your teachings and get into the mystical aspects of some of the teachings or the esoteric aspects of some of the teachings, you will start to learn how the Son of God is also the S-U-N, Son of God. It's a dual aspect in that teaching right there. Jesus represented the Son in the flesh, but he also represented the Son in the celestial kingdom, the S-U-N. The S-U-N Son gives light, which is life, to everything on the planet. Without the S-U-N Son, everything on the everything on the planet would die. Without the S-U-N. But the S-O-N brings life to us in the flesh. But the S-U-N gives life to us in the flesh. And it also affects our DNA. It upgrades us with information and it enlightens us spiritually. That's why the Gentiles work so hard spraying back and forth to block out the sun. And all of those ships up there ain't from the Gentiles. But they do spend time trying to modify the weather because global warming is a natural thing. And global warming go hand in hand with the awakening. As more light is poured out onto the flesh of the original people, their consciousness is gonna become elevated. In other teachings, when you learn how we are the children of the sun, as the sun heats up, the children of the sun heat up spiritually and mentally. Let's keep eating. We gotta get into the deeper aspects of the teachings too. Page 61. There are many reasons why the equinoxes and solstices were important to ancient people, including determination of when to plant and harvest crops. Also, on a spiritual level, it appears that our predecessors understood what some contemporary esotericists still believe, that the intervals before, during, and after the equinoxes and the solstices are spiritually powerful times. The intervals before, during, and after the equinoxes and the solstices are spiritually powerful times. Right now is a spiritual, powerful time. And the Gentiles got us using this spiritual power to go shopping and to enrich their pockets. Mind games. This is why you got to study your opponent. You don't understand the fight. We gain them spiritual energy by just conforming to the things they tell us and spending money to keep empowering them. We fund our own downfall through ignorance or a lack of knowledge, as the prophet Hosea taught us. My people will be destroyed for a lack of knowledge, meaning they ignorant. The intervals before, during, and after the equinoxes and solstices are spiritually powerful times. It is said that these are the days when the higher planes of consciousness are more accessible. These are the days when the higher planes of consciousness are more accessible. But what the Gentiles then did is then redirected our mode of thought and understanding so that we can't harness this energy that's been blasted upon us right now. Alright? Next. Look at the sun behind the brother's head. That's symbology right there. As you grow and your spirit become more aware, you'll start to notice things that you didn't see before. It's a reason the sun is always behind the head of the brother. It's dual aspects of the teachings. The Comedian Christ and the African Gnostic Jesus. You got different pictures of the mother and the son. Alright, let's eat out this book. Let's start to eat out here. You know I like to milk a book till we get all of the good meat we need up out it. So we gonna start to eat out this book some. And Kemet is the name for Egypt. And the only thing to remember when you studying things that got to do with Kemet, remember, the Gentiles told us the cradle of civilization started in Egypt. If Gentiles are pointing you to it, you gotta know in your mind it's a red flag and a trick to it. Alright? And the trick in this case is they teach us everything stemmed from Egypt to hide the fact that the Egyptians or Kemet, all their knowledge and understanding and teachings came from us over here. Alright? The Atlanteans or the Lemurians, or over here, the old world, everything is reversed. They taught us this is the old world, where they told us that the Africa and the lands over there was the old world and that this was the new world. But as you study the Gentiles, you usually gotta look for the reverse. Over here, the Americas, where Atlantis was, Lemuria was, where all of that was connected, this was the old world. Over there in the lands of Africa and Asia, those were the new worlds. When Atlantis was destroyed, they left from here and some went over there to recreate. If you read the teachings of Tahuti or Thoth, he said that when Atlantis was destroyed, they went to Egypt and rebuilt. All right. So Egypt, and then if you read the teachings of Abraham, Abraham said he went to teach the Egyptians also. So Enoch was teaching the Egyptians and Abraham was teaching the Egyptians. So that's what the Gentiles like to hide when they always point to Egypt is the cradle. Everything came from Egypt. All wisdom came from Egypt. And a lot of the brothers and sisters, not to them, a lot of the ones that study Kemet in Egypt, they disregard the teachings of the scriptures or the Bible because they'll say that they just stem from Egypt, not knowing that Egypt stemmed from our older teachings that we had. All right? So that's just an asterisk to remember when you get to studying things that got to do with Kemet in Egypt. And it's not that their teachings is wrong. It's just putting everything in order. That's all. Because like the Most High said, Egypt, it's my people. Those was his people too. We was over there. We was everywhere. All right? I'm going to start on page 131. And this is a section where he got questions that he answered. So does the story of Jesus have a meaning for us who believe in him as the Son of God, the S-O-N Son? Yes, of course. The story of Jesus as an astronomical journey of the Son is cosmic in its origin, but in human terms, it is explaining the journey of the human soul. It is also metaphysical. Man is a microcosmic universe on earth, as it is in heaven. The story of Haru. Haru is the name of the Savior in Egypt, or Kemet. He is the son of Asa. All right. We'll get more into it as we go on. But Haru was the one that was born from a virgin, just like Jesus was born from a virgin. That same story is in Kemet that is in Christianity. All right, let me show you. Let's look at the pictures here. All right, I go a picture of Yeshua and Mary, which also ties into this picture right here, which is the picture that a lot of us have seen with Aset and Haru, or Isis and Horus. So they had the same story over there. It says, Mary, Aset, the beloved divine mother holding Haru, the Christ, which meaning the Christ. Is the reason that they use the Bible to keep us away from Egypt. Is to keep us away from some of our other teachings. The story of Haru, or Jesus, is the telling of the annual journey of the sun through the zodiac, as well as the journey of the soul through human life. Question: so is the rebirth of the sun the birth of Jesus? In the allegory, yes. If we study this through astronomical terms, we will see that the first day of the new sun is December 25th, which is the day Jesus was born in the stable in Bethlehem. So the Son of God was originally the son of Ra, or the son of God, meaning Haru. The new sun, Haru or Jesus, is reborn every year after the winter solstice, which ends the previous cycle of the sun before its rebirth. It is said, the king is dead, long live the king. Before the kings of Europe quoted this saying, it was a fact about Asa and Haru. Asa was the father. Asa was a symbol of resurrection in the cosmos, in nature, and in man. Question: what happens after December 25th? After December 25th, the sun, the sun, is reborn or resurrected. It begins its journey through the house of the zodiac, just as Jesus began his life, first as a young child. All right. The life of Haru, or Jesus as a child, or the new sun, lasted until summer. In astronomical terms, or in form terms, was most powerful during his youth. All right. After the winter solstice, the days started to get back longer. That's why I say he's a child starting after the solstice. The days started to get back longer. And as the months go on, the sun increase in strength. But by the time that it gets back to fall, going into winter, his strength is decreasing. The days start to get shorter and shorter. In many European myths, Jesus, or sun, sun, natures depict the sun as an infant during December through January, a young boy at Easter, a strong man during summer, because that's when the days are the longest in the summer season, and as a frail old man during the approach of winter. All right. Show you some different pictures that the brother got here in the book. There's always another aspect to the teachings that the Gentiles don't want us to know, because their job is to hide information from us. That's the Gentiles' job, to get us stuck in the 66 or the 80 books, and to tell us not to go no farther than that. And here we go right here, the three kings. We're gonna read about that in a second. It got to do with the celestial kingdom. The Most High is the Father of the lights, the Father of the luminaries. All right. Question: what does the three kings, the three wise men, or the Magi represent? The three magi of wise men and their journey to meet the new King of Kings refers to the three stars of Orion's belt. We done did a couple lessons. A lesson on the Pleiades, and then the other lesson we did talking about Orion's belt. The key to the universe is on Orion's belt. The three magi of wise men and their journey to meet the new King of Kings refers to the three stars of Orion's belt, which just after the winter solstice align in such a way as to point to Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, and the star that the three kings, which are the three stars of Orion's belt, follow. The three stars of Orion's belt were also known as the three kings of Orion. Like Big Judah always tell us, there's an exoteric and an esoteric meaning to all of the scriptures. Alright. Question. What is the significance of Orion's belt or the Sirius constellation? Answer. Resurrection. Remember the lesson we did on the pyramids? Along with the lesson we did on Pleiades and Orion? All of this ties together. We got to absorb it in steps. Alright. We're going to stop right there, but we're going to come back and eat out this book at another time. Alright. All of it tied together. And it also got to do with the powers within the body. Alright, it all tied together, but we're just gonna have to do another lesson. We're gonna do some more lessons out this book, because this brother got some good information in here about the Son, the S-U-N of God. Alright, and the disciples, which also had a celestial aspect to the teachings. Alright, they were also allegorical teachers. Not to say that they weren't physical beings also, but there's always a duality. Alright, it's always a duality. We got a physical side, we got a spiritual side. Alright, and we also gotta look at the side that got to do with as above, so below. That's duality. As it is with the luminaries above, so it is with the luminaries below. Alright? Peace.